What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Financial Forerunners show. This is a show where we take your financial questions and answer them with probably some uncommon takes, but takes that we believe will help get you to where you want to go financially. We got the Triple J's coming at you today, Jack, Jonathan, and Josue, and we're going to be covering the topic, where's the best place to store your savings or your capital in the year 2022? I'll pose that question to you guys to start. Like, historically, where have you put your money?
Yeah, that's a great question. Typically, I would always try to answer that question by going on NerdWallet and looking up best savings accounts for 2022 and also best bank promos. So what that's resulted in is in me having like 6 to 7 different checking accounts now because I try to take advantage of every bank promo. And the reason why is because all my accounts are right now at 0.01% interest. So I try to mitigate that and overcome that by opening up these new bank accounts. But over time, I still get discouraged by the 0.01% interest. So then I really start feeling the pressure to put my money in the stock market and use robo advisors.
Yeah, I hear you on that. What about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, pretty much been the same way. It's hard to just see money sitting in the bank, not growing at all. So traditionally, put money straight into like a Schwab account, brokerage account, and maybe some of it's just cash, but a lot of it invested in some sort of stocks, things like that. Maybe a little bit in crypto, but uh, I was skeptical for a while and still am. So I kind of limit that exposure. But yeah, I mean, traditionally just stored it in banks, just one account. I'm not as familiar with NerdWallet as Josue is because I'm not a nerd. But uh, yeah, just bank accounts, brokerage accounts, those
Yeah,
types of things.
totally. Yeah, it's interesting. Like both you guys, so we're talking about savings today. Both of you mentioned also like stock market, crypto. Yeah, when most people talk about saving for like retirement, like they're actually talking about investing in speculative stocks, index funds, crypto. And savings really happens in accounts that have guaranteed growth. And these accounts are important for things like an emergency fund, savings for a house or car or vacation or another investment you want to save up for. I just went on NerdWallet and found that top savings accounts have interest rates of 0.5 or 0.6%. And yeah, that's not growing very much. And the thing is, too, like once you have saved up enough to pay for a major purchase or investment opportunity, you have to start all over again. And most people don't consider this like we got Dave Ramsey talking about like pay cash for things, and that's better than going into debt and paying extra in interest. But when we pay cash, we lose out on all the future interest our money could have earned. Nelson Nash says you finance everything you buy. You either pay interest to a financial institution or lose out on future interest your money could have earned. So like there's not many efficient ways to go about saving and spending and investing. Yeah, what else do you guys think in this area? Is there a better way to go about this?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely what we need. We need a better way. So I mentioned how I get 0.01% interest on my savings accounts, and why that's such a discouragement is actually because I know what the
Mm,
power of inflation is. So for anyone that doesn't know, inflation just means that you have a reduction in the purchasing power of your dollar. So when there's an increase in supply of cash on the market, that means that each individual dollar has less purchasing power. So we're seeing this today by gas prices already at regular gas like 3.55. If you're using premium gas, it's over $4. And some people are saying we're going to reach $5,
okay.
by the summer. Also, housing increasing at 20% year over year. This consumer price index is at 7.5%, which is just a basket of everyday goods that we buy. But wholesale price index is just inflation rate is at 9.5%. So just in general, I mean, a good number to say like if we have inflation rate at 10%, that means that the value of my dollar year over year is losing value by 10%. So if I'm gaining only 0.01% in interest and I'm losing 10%, obviously everyone's losing and savers end up losers. And especially for us in the middle class, we end up running in the same place. So with that pressure too, then we start feeling, okay, I just got to put my money in the market. I got to put it into the stock market because I'm tired of this 0.01% interest. But uh, like you said, Jack, I mean, investing is different than savings, and especially with nowadays investing, especially with Robinhood and kind of quick, easy, put your money in a brokerage account, you're going to deal with volatile markets. You're going to deal with a 24-hour news cycle that, some major CEO has to tweet, I'm going to use crypto, and then all of a
Hmm.
sudden it goes up in value, or he says I'm not going to use it anymore, boom, and just drops. And like that's not what we want to put our savings. That we don't want to have to stress over our emergency fund and
Totally,
over our basic savings.
man. Yeah, yeah. You can't predict what's going on in the current marketplace with yeah.
Right. And we can see even right now, I mean, like if there's
Hmm.
war going on overseas,
Yeah,
American economy tanks, the market tanks. And that has, so in other words, like you can see that the market is not even contingent on what
hmm,
we're doing here in the US, right? So there's such a global scale. And again, just we need a better
yeah,
savings.
yeah. What do you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, those are really good points, Josue. I think, man, just going over some of those numbers, it's like crazy to think that the value of my dollar that's just sitting in the bank, or maybe it's even in my brokerage account, but it's not invested in anything, but just sitting as cash is decreasing by that much a year. I mean, that's a lot. Those are kind of startling numbers. And also, Jack, yeah, I mean, that's good perspective on the fact of like actually investing versus savings. Because I know for a lot of my life, I viewed a 401k or a brokerage account. And I basically, even though I knew it was invested, I considered that as like money that I had on hand. But the reality is it's not. I mean, I was checking some stocks that I owned a year ago. I don't thankfully currently own anymore. But they're like a third of the price
Hmm.
that they were last year, which is crazy to think that which was probably just mostly bad investing strategy. But the fact that like my dollar could in something else, it's not really saved. It's not protected. So, um, yeah, I mean, it would be great if like there was some sort of vehicle to put money that at least got some sort of return, much better than 0.01% to combat inflation, but also still get that safe like compounding interest rather than depend on markets or crypto and just kind of hope and pray it goes up and it's up when we need it to be. Like if we want to buy a house or a car and we have to, if all my money's in that means I got to sell and then pay taxes and hope that it's in a high time of
Yeah,
markets and not low. So, but then going to banks, like if we, if I move money out of those volatile markets and it is just in the bank, I guess that kind of makes me wonder, like, where do banks store their capital to begin with if we're the ones giving them like our cash?
just massive safes, right? Like
You guys
their
know?
vault in the basement.
Well, it wouldn't make sense for them to keep it in the basement because again, they then lose 10% of that money year over year, just like we do with
That's
inflation.
true. All right, give us the answer, Jonathan.
Maybe they buy real estate, but that's an investment. So obviously they got to be doing something that is zero risk, but better than zero point zero 0.01.
Yeah, you would hope so, or else everybody's kind of just losing value.
Losing,
uh,
right?
so I actually found out this year that banks will store assets in whole life insurance. So the top four banks, so like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Citi, have over $60 billion of their assets in life insurance, which is considered a tier one asset for them, which is very strange. Why where we keep our money, like they're then putting it into insurance. So I don't know if you guys have heard that or if you have any thoughts. Like if they're doing that, can we do that? Like, why are they doing that? And I would want
Yeah.
to know more.
Yeah, I think whole life insurance is a seriously misunderstood vehicle. I know the reasons that banks put money there is because it grows guaranteed, it gets a dividend, it's liquid and can be used if needed. And when it's used, it can actually be used in a way that's different than just withdrawing like we would from a bank or another account. It can be borrowed against so that the whole amount continues growing while it's being used. Um, yeah, so we'll get into whole life insurance and how it can be uniquely structured to be really productive for a bank and a person. I mean, yeah, how does a bank even own that much in life insurance? Like, we'll get into some of these topics and yeah, help you be a forerunner in your financial life and get to where you want to go faster. So thanks for joining us today, and tune in again for the next episode that'll be coming soon. Triple J's out.